So this we have seen in yesterday's lecture, how to create a simple class in Java. You have to write a class keyword followed by a class name. Class name can be anything of your choice, starts with uppercase letter. Then a main function. Now this is how you have to write a main function: public static void main string args. This is system.out.println and the message. This message will get printed on the screen. This we have seen yesterday. This we have, just to briefly revise, instead of the plain text, if you want to print the user argument, see here the Sonu is the user argument. The user has given input, and that Sonu name you want to print it like your first argument is, and whatever argument, whatever name the user will supply. So this is how we have seen ki we can print it. Plus sign and args of 0. Args of 0 means argument 0. This is your string argument. So the user has supplied one argument. So since you know the array indexing starts from 0, so args of 0 will contain first argument. In the next program, the user has given 3 input, 10, 20 and 30. Okay, so here you will be having I'll write in short: args of 0, args of 1 and args of 2. You will be having 3 input. Okay, so args of 0 will contain 10, args of 1 will contain 20, args of 2 will have 30. So now I want to print these 3 values. So now I have 3 options: whether I write system.out.print args of 0, again system.out.println args of 1, system.out.println args of 2. I have to write 3 statements. Okay, but likewise if I have 100 variables to print, I'll have to write 100 statements, but that is not a good practice. So I'll write a for. So this for will iterate for the length of your string array. What is the length of this string array? Is you have 3 inputs, so the length is equal to 3. So this loop will iterate 3 times, and the first time the value of I will be 0. So this line system.out.println args of 0 will print 10. In the next time, system.out.println the value of I is now 1. So system.out.println args of 1, it will print 20, and next time the value of I will be 2. So system.out.println args of 2 will print 30. So you will see the output like this: output 10, 20, 30. This we have seen yesterday. This is how you can create a class. This is how you have to write a main function. Inside main function, if you want to create an integer variable, int num, this is how you have created int num variable. Num is equal to 100. The value of num is 100. You have assigned. If you want to print that number, you can print like this: this is number plus num. So plus num. So whatever is the value of num will be substituted here, and you will see the output like this: this is num and the value of num is 100. Now your target is to multiply that number by 2. So number is equal to number multiplied by 2. So what is the value of num? The value of num is 100, and you want to multiply it by 2. So total value will become 200. So the new value of num here you have assigned is 200. Okay, 100 multiplied by 2 is 200, and answer you have assigned in the same variable, and you will print it like this: system.out.print. Okay, this is another way to print. So what is the difference between this print and print ln? Okay, what is the difference between this print and print ln? So
it will shift to new line.
It will shift to the new line. Say you have given system.out.println. So whatever you have given for printing, it will print in the first line, and then cursor will come to your next line for further printing. This is the work of print ln. And for simple print, what will happen? if you say system.out.print, so whatever you will print, say you have printed this and then your cursor is still here, and then the next line when you write again system.out.print, it will start from here. So system.out.println, it prints line by line in the next line, and playing system.out.print, it will print in continuation. Okay, so depending upon your output format, depending upon how you want to display the output, you can choose between the print or println function. Okay, you can try to write this program and see the output that is getting printed on your screen. Now just to briefly revise, now this is not in your syllabus, just to briefly revise how this if condition works in C or C++. You might have studied this. So if is basically used, if is basically used to take decision whether it is correct or not, whether to go right or whether to go left, this kind of decision. So from the diagram itself, it is very clear that this is your flow of the code, this is your code flow, then there is certain condition will be there. Now if that condition is true, you will execute this code. If that condition is false, you will skip this code and you will take this path further. So this is how this if else condition works. Okay, let us simply try to understand it with the help of simple program. So you have written one class, the class name you have given if sample. Okay, if sample is a class name, starts with capital I and S is capital. Okay, this is one form of giving one form of naming convention. Okay, then inside the class you have written public static void main string args. Inside main you have created, let's say, two variable, integer x and y, and the value of x and y you have initialized to 10 and 20. So now variable x is having value 10, variable y is having value 20. Now you want to check if x is less than y, क्या x की वैल्यू y से कम है क्या? If x is less than y, अगर हाँ, yes, if x is less than y, if the condition evaluates to true, condition is true, then you have to print system.out.println x is less than y. This message you want to print. Okay, now in this program, okay, we have considered only if the condition is true, perform this action. If the condition is false or otherwise, what you have to do, this we have not taken care of. Okay, so if x is less than y, print the message, otherwise don't do anything. Okay, skip this line. So in the next line, what we have done is x is equal to x multiplied by 2. So what is the value of x? 10. 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. So the new value of x, here is 20. New value of x is 20. In the next line, you have checked if x is equal to y, whether x is equal to y, x and y are same. If it is true, if x and y are same, then print system.out.println x is now equal to y. Yes, it is same, y की value 20 है and the new value of x is 20, so 20 is equal to 20, that is true, so x is now equal to y. Now in the next line, x is equal to x multiplied by 2. Now the current value of x is 20, 20 multiplied by 2 is 40, so the new value of x is 40. So if x is greater than y, the value of x is 40, the value of y is 20. So 40 is greater than 20. Yes, if it is true, then now you have to print x is now greater than y. Otherwise, don't do anything. Okay. This is how we use if for condition checking or to take a decision. Okay. Now next is for. Demonstration of for, how this for works. Okay. So let us try to see the program. All these concepts are from C programming. Okay, we are simply trying to revisit those concepts using Java syntax. Okay, we are not doing anything new, we are not learning anything new right now. Okay, so how to use the for. Okay, so create a class, write class for test. For test is a class name, you can give any name. Public static void main string args. Inside main, let's say you create one variable x. Okay, now your target is to print integer value from 0 to 9. Okay, from 0 to 9 you want to print. So how you will print? So initialize, this first portion is initialization. Okay, this first portion is initialization, the second portion is condition, and this third portion is your action, that is increment or decrement. Okay, okay. This is your condition, this is your initialization, this is your condition, and this is your increment or decrement. So initially the value of x is equal to 0. Okay, x is less than 10 because x की value 0 है, 0 is less than 10. Yes, condition is true. It will go inside the for and it will print system.out.println, this is x 0. So this first line will get printed, and since we have used println, the cursor is now here. Okay, the next statement will be printed here. Now it will go to x is equal to x plus 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Now the value of x is 1. Again it will check the condition. 1 is less than 10. Yes, 1 is less than 10. It will print the next line, this is x equal to 1. After printing it will go here. Now x is equal to x plus 1. The value of x is 1. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 is less than 10. Yes, it will print the value. Again it will go here till it prints 9. Okay, suppose this is 9 gets printed. So 9 plus 1, 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 is less than 10, false. 10 is not less than 10, 10 is equal to 10. Okay, so 10 is less than 10, condition evaluates to false. When condition evaluates to false, exit the for. Okay, exit the for. So this is how your for works. This is how your for works. Okay, okay, so demonstrate the block scope. Demonstrate the block scope. What do you mean by block? Block means, let's say you write a function f and you open a parenthesis and close the parenthesis. So this is the block scope of function f. This is the block scope, I mean this is the scope of function f. Okay, let's say you write a main function, main function, main function, and inside that this is the block of main. Whatever you write here will be a part of main function. This is nothing but the main block, the scope of main. Okay. Okay, let us try to understand this program. Okay, so here class name of your choice starts with uppercase letter. Public static void main string args, function name. Inside function name, okay, this is the main function. Okay, so this is the starting of main and this bracket is the closing of main. So this is the scope of main. Okay, this is the scope of main. Okay, now inside main we have created one variable integer x. The value of x is equal to 10. Okay, here we checked if x is equal to 10, and again the bracket, opening bracket is there. So this is the opening bracket and corresponding closing bracket is this one. The scope of this block is this much. Okay, okay, So if x is equal to 10, you have started a new block. If x is equal to 10, you have started a new block, and inside that you have created one y variable, y is equal to 20. And because this inner scope is cascaded within this outer scope, okay, so here x and y both are accessible. स्कोप का मीनिंग ये है कि ये x बनाया गया है मेन के ब्लॉक में, ओके, सो दिस x इज एक्सेसिबल फ्रॉम दिस ब्रैकेट टू दिस ब्रैकेट. जहां भी आप x को लिखेंगे x इज एक्सेसिबल. वेयर एज y इज क्रिएटेड विद इन दिस ब्लॉक, सो y इज एक्सेसिबल ओनली विद इन this area, y is accessible only within this area. So within this purple block, if you print x and y, both will get printed because x is also available, y is also available. Now once this block is over, if you try to access y value, it will give you error, y is not known here, because y is created within this block, and this block is over. y cannot be accessed outside this inner block, but x is still alive here, okay, so here you can print the value of x. Now the scope of main is over, and after this bracket, if you try to print or access the value of x, it won't get printed.
It's a collection
of similar or homogeneous type of elements. Okay, so let's say A is an array. So this is how your array looks like. The indexing starts from 0, a of 0, a of 1, a of 2 up to a of n minus 1. Let's say the size of array is 10, so the indexing will go from 0 to 9. So first, let's say you have created an integer array, so you can store integer in these arrays. Let's say integer 1, integer 5, integer 6, integer 9, and so on and so forth. Likewise, you can store integer in this array. Okay, so let us try to understand this concept. So here you have created one class array. Class array is the class name, starts with uppercase letter. Public static void main string args. Okay, inside main, now you know the scope of main. The scope of main is from this bracket to this bracket. Okay, now inside main, what you have done is you have created one integer array. So the name of array is month underscore days. The name of the array is month underscore days. Month underscore day is an array name. Array is of type integer. It means month underscore days will store integer type of data. Okay. Now here in the next line, what you have done, you have allocated the space required to store 12 integers. In this line, what you are doing, you are allocating and space required to store 12 integer. When we create an integer variable, let's say int I, so what we are doing is we are allocating the space required to store one integer variable I in the memory for storing one integer variable in the Now here when we are creating an integer array, month underscore day is an integer array. Now how many element do we want to store in that integer array? We want to store say 12 integer. Okay, we want to store say 12 integer. How those 12 integer will look like? Will look like this much. Yes, 0, 1, 2 till n minus 1, that is 11. Okay, so your name of the array is month underscore days. So this position will be month underscore days 0, month underscore days 1, month underscore days 2, month underscore days 3, month underscore days till 11. So we have initialized it like this. So month underscore days 0 is 31. So you have initialized this position to 31, this position to 28, this position to 31, this position to 30. Likewise, you have initialized your array. Okay, so what you have done here? You have created one integer array. You have allocated with the help of new keyword. What this new is a keyword which is used to allocate memory. Here we are allocating an memory for an integer array to store 12 integer. If we want to allocate an array for storing 5 integer, I will write new int 5. If I want to, let's say if I have a character array, say character C array is there. If I want to store say 100 character, so I will write character array ka naam is equal to new character 100. If I want to store double value, so I will write double array का नाम is equal to new double 50 एलिमेंट मुझे स्टोर करना है. ठीक है, ये दो लाइन मीनिंग सबको क्लियर है?
यस सर.
फर्स्ट लाइन.
सो न्यू क्या करता है, आप एक बार रिपीट कर सकते हो?
न्यू इज बेसिकली यूज्ड टू अलोकेट द मेमोरी. आपने बना दिया मंथ अंडरस्कोर डेज, तो ब्लैंक मंथ अंडरस्कोर डेज बन गया. बट ये जो इतना जो एरे है, ये जो इतना स्पेस है, दिस स्पेस इज नॉट एक्चुअली अलोकेटेड. सो मंथ अंडरस्कोर डेज बनाने के बाद यू हैव अलोकेटेड दिस space, that is say for storing one integer you require 2 bytes of data. So for storing 12 integer you require 24 bytes of data. So that 25 bytes of space. So 24 bytes of the space. So 24 bytes of the space that you need to allocate to that variable month underscore days. And once the space is allocated, then you can keep your material.
Okay,
and
so
system.out.println, you can print कि April has, so this is static text, April has plus month underscore days 3. So what is the value of month underscore days 3 is 30. So April has 30 plus, this is static text, so output will be like April has 30 days. So here if you change month underscore days say 1, so you will print here January has, here you will write January has 31 days. Likewise you can print. Okay, this is how you can create an array and initialize the elements in an array and access it. Now this code, this one and this one is same, both are same. Okay, now let us try to write the same code in a better way. Here int month underscore days, here you have written this, and the next line you have created or allocated the space, and here you have initialized the element in that allocated space. So here this is activity 1, this is activity 2, this is your activity 3. So in this program all the 3 activities are done through a single statement over here. So int month underscore days is equal to 31 28 31 bracket and this semicolon. So this line will create month underscore days array, allocate space for 12 integer values. These are 12 integer values, 31 38 31 30 31 30 are 12 integer values, and initialize those 12 places with these 12 values so that you can access them. So basically these two code are same. Okay, I mean,
Sir.
now here this is another example of using array and using array. Okay, देखिए क्या किया है here, class average. Okay, class average is a class name, starts with uppercase letter, public static void main string args. Okay, here we have created one array. Okay, array of type double. Okay, array of type double. Num s is my array name, and I have created an array for 1 2 3 4 5 double element, and I have initialized it with this 5 value. So your array will look like this: 1 2 3 4. This is your 0 position. This is 1 2 3 4, and first value is 10.1, second value is 11.2, likewise. Okay, this you have achieved here. You have created one more temporary variable, result is equal to 0. Your result variable is there. Now this result variable is 0. Now your problem is to calculate the average of this 5 number. So the average of this 5 number is, okay, you need to sum this 5 number and divide it by 5. So how it has been done, देखिए यहाँ पे, for I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, क्योंकि मुझे 5 नंबर्स के लिए 5 बार लूप चलाना है, so that's why the condition is I less than 5. Result is equal to result plus num of I, num s of I. So now result, the value of result is 0, result is initialized to 0. तो फर्स्ट टाइम I की वैल्यू रहेगी 0. सो num s of 0 is 10.1. So 0 plus 10.1 is 10.1. Now the updated value of our result is 10.1. Now the updated value of result is 10.1. Okay, so now the updated value of result is 10.1 is equal to 10.1 plus the next value is num1. Num1 is 11.2. So 10.1 plus 11.2, whatever the value is, it is called as running sum. This loop will give you the output 10 plus 1 plus 11.2 plus 12.3 plus 13.4 plus 14.5. So whatever is the sum after this loop is over, that sum is here in the result variable. And then if you divide it by 5, result by 5, see, average is okay, so average is a static text, okay, plus result by 5. Whatever will be the value of result plus result divided by 5 should be appended with the average is text. Okay, so average is, whatever is the average, that value will be printed. So average is, जो भी average रहेगा वो वहाँ print हो जाएगा. देखिए, this is how you can use for running sum. So this is one more short thing. String str is equal to, now you can now this was not allowed in C or C++. Okay, but string is a class, str is a variable. Like just like you create integer I is equal to 10. Similarly, string str is equal to, this is test string, or you can write string str is equal to in double quotes ram. Okay, and you can print system.out.println str. So whatever is the value of str, that is ram, will get printed. Okay, this is how you can initialize string also. This is how you can initialize string here in Java.